The moment the black luxury SUV slowed at the red light, no one inside noticed the woman on the sidewalk. No one except the child in the back seat. She stood barefoot on the cold pavement, her clothes hanging like borrowed memories, her hair tangled by years of survival. She held no sign, made no noise, asked for nothing. Yet the little boy pressed his hand to the glass, his breath fogging the window, his heart suddenly racing as if it recognized something his mind could not yet explain. The light was still red when the boy leaned forward, eyes wide with disbelief and aching certainty, and in a voice trembling with truth, he told his father that the beggar outside was his mother. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of love that survives even the worst storms of life, take a moment now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that no soul is ever truly lost. The man behind the wheel was known in the city as a symbol of success. His name appeared on skyscrapers, charity galas, and financial magazines. As a single father, he was admired for balancing boardrooms and bedtime stories, for raising a son with discipline and opportunity after tragedy had carved a permanent absence in their lives. He believed he had done everything right since the day his wife vanished from their world. He had rebuilt his life brick by brick, wealth by wealth, memory by memory, sealing away the past under layers of routine and responsibility. The streets outside the tinted windows were merely background noise to him, a place he passed through but never belonged to. Years earlier, the disappearance of his wife had been explained away as abandonment. That was the word whispered by relatives, printed in legal papers, and echoed in his own wounded heart. She had struggled, they said. She had been fragile, overwhelmed, unable to handle motherhood, poverty, or marriage, to a man always chasing ambition. When she left, he chose not to search too deeply. Pain has a way of making silence feel safer than answers. He buried himself in work, convinced himself that moving forward was the same as healing, and focused all his love on his son. The boy grew up in a world of private schools, guarded gates, and tailored suits. Yet despite the comfort, he carried a softness that money could not explain. He noticed things others ignored. He asked questions adults avoided. And from the time he could speak, he asked about his mother, not angrily but gently, as if hoping she might hear him wherever she was. His father answered carefully, always with distance, always with control, never allowing the past to spill into the present. That illusion shattered at the traffic light. As the boy stared at the woman outside, memories flooded him not as clear pictures but as feelings. A warmth in the chest, a familiarity in the eyes, a pull that defied logic. He had seen her face before in dreams and half-remembered lullabies. Though time had etched hardship into her features, something unbroken remained. The boy's certainty was not based on proof but on instinct, the kind that forms before words and survives despite absence. The father dismissed it at first. Trauma can make children imagine things, he thought. Grief can dress itself as hope. But when he finally turned his head and looked, something inside him cracked. The woman's eyes met his, and the world seemed to tilt. They were the same eyes he had once fallen in love with, now dulled by hunger and exhaustion, yet still holding the same quiet depth. Years of unanswered questions surged forward all at once, colliding with guilt, fear, and disbelief. The light turned green, horns blared behind them, and life demanded movement. But the man could not move. For the first time in decades, the forward motion he had relied on betrayed him. He pulled the car over, his hands shaking not from fear, but from the weight of truth pressing against his chest. The woman did not rush toward them. She did not beg or cry or call out. She stood frozen, as if expecting rejection, as if bracing herself for the pain she had lived with every day since leaving. Her life after disappearance had not been an escape but a descent. Abusive shelters, stolen belongings, lost opportunities, untreated illness, and nights spent wondering if her child hated her. She had walked away not because she didn't love her family, but because she believed she was poison to them. Depression had whispered lies into her mind, convincing her that her absence would be a gift. Time passed in silence as father and son stepped onto the sidewalk. The boy moved first, his small hand reaching for hers without hesitation. That simple touch did what years of therapy and success never could for his father. It broke the armor. In that moment, the man understood that wealth had protected his body but not his soul. He saw how easily he had accepted a convenient story instead of searching for a painful truth. The struggle that followed was not simple or quick. Bringing her back into their lives meant confronting the past in all its ugliness. There were medical evaluations, therapy sessions, and nights filled with regret. The woman had to relearn trust, relearn stability, relearn how to be seen without shame. The father had to accept responsibility for not looking harder, for not listening closely enough, for choosing comfort over compassion. The boy became the bridge between them, his love untainted by blame, his presence a reminder of what truly mattered. Slowly, life began to change. Not in dramatic headlines or public apologies, but in small, sacred moments, shared meals, quiet walks. The sound of laughter echoing through rooms that once felt hollow. The woman received care, not as a charity case, but as a human being worthy of dignity. The father learned humility, realizing that success without empathy is just another form of poverty. Yet the city continued to rush past them, unaware of the miracle unfolding. The same streets that once ignored a broken woman now bore witness to her healing. She was no longer invisible. She was seen, valued, and loved. And the man who once drove past suffering without a glance now stopped every time, teaching his son that kindness is not a weakness but a responsibility. The greatest challenge was forgiveness. Forgiving the world for its cruelty. Forgiving each other for misunderstandings shaped by fear. Forgiving themselves for years lost to silence. Forgiveness did not erase the scars, but it transformed them into reminders of survival rather than symbols of shame. As months passed, the boy's smile grew brighter. He slept better, laughed louder, and carried a peace that only wholeness can bring. The woman regained strength, her eyes slowly reflecting hope instead of pain. The man found that his heart, once guarded by contracts and schedules, was capable of breaking open again, and that was its greatest strength. Just before we reach the end of this story, take a moment to comment below with one word that describes how this journey made you feel. Your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today. In the end, the richest lesson was not about money, forgiveness, or even reunion. It was about seeing, about stopping long enough to recognize humanity where the world teaches us to look away. The boy had done what adults often forget. He had looked with his heart instead of his assumptions, and because of that, a family was restored, not to perfection, but to truth. If this story touched your heart, if it made you pause and reflect on the people you might be passing by every day, please like this video, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement helps keep stories of hope alive, reminding us all that sometimes the greatest miracles happen when we simply stop, look back, and choose compassion.